Good evening and welcome to today's session for the subject Strategies for Sustainable Design. This is an extra session, so this is not a regular session or a weekly problem solving session. In today's session, you can ask any of the doubts that you have from this course, and I'll try to solve your doubts before you proceed for your final exam. So if any of you have any doubts, please go ahead and ask. I see several people here, so just for your information again, this is not a regular weekly session as earlier, so we won't be discussing any example questions today. It's just a doubt clearing and problem solving session. So if any of you have any doubts from this course that you hadn't gotten clear till uh, in the live sessions, in the weekly live sessions, if you still have any doubts before the exam, please go ahead and ask. I see several people here. I hope you can all hear me. This session is for additional doubt clearing, so we won't be going through any regular weekly questions, or we won't be discussing any questions specific to one particular week. Today you can ask any doubts that you have from this course. So this is the last session for this subject. This is the last weekly session for this subject. This is an additional session created so that you can get any of your doubts cleared, any of your doubts about this um, this subject. So it can be from any week, any lecture. If you have any doubts in the study material, in the lectures, in any of the problems, example problems that we discuss, please go ahead and ask. Payal, as you've recently joined, like you freshly joined, I'll let you know as well that this is an additional session. This is not a weekly regular session. So this is just a session for if you have any additional doubts in this course. So if Payal or anyone else of you has any doubts, please go ahead and ask. Tanmay, you have no doubts? I hope you can all hear me. Can anyone just indicate if you can hear me or not? Okay. Okay, you are traveling now, so you are just attending to hear doubts that other people ask. Am I correct? Okay. What about Simran? Simran, Payal, I see Mandavi and Ananya. Uh, do you guys have any doubts? Okay. Simran, if you have no doubts in this week or in this session, we are just discussing any doubts that you have. It's not a regular session. There is not going to be any example questions this week. We are just discussing any doubts. So, okay, so if none of you have any doubts right now, I'll just keep this session on and running, and I'll wait for more time. The session is scheduled from 6 to 8. So I'll be here from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And if any of you has any doubt meanwhile during this entire session, you can just type in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and ask your question, and I'll get to your question. Okay. Rupal, you have just joined. Okay, Rupal, you have just joined, so I'd like to inform you that this is a doubt clearing session. It's not a regular session where we'll solve some example questions. So, if you have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask. I'm here in this session from 6 to 8, and it is solely meant for doubt clearing. So, if you have any doubts, you can ask.
Okay, ma'am.
Tanmay is asking when will the internal score marks will be published. It will be published alongside your final exam marks. So if you want to check, you can just go to your uh, wherever you see your quiz. So on the Swayam website itself. So if you go to your quiz, you will see how many questions you've gotten right and how many you've gotten wrong. So you can see all of your scores in the portal itself, and among those you can see the top. I think it's top five, or I don't know. I'm not sure, but as many as they decided at the beginning of the course, and that will decide your internal score. So it's not published in that form. It will be published along with your final marks only. But if you still want to know how much you scored, you can go to the SWAYAM portal and check itself. I'll show you if you want. So you can see my screen. So for example, if you go to quiz 1 for week 1, you will see like this. So if you I didn't do the quiz, so I've gotten a score of 0, but if you had answered, you would get your score here for each question. So you can calculate the score uh, at you can just add up your score for the quiz and you can calculate that way. So similarly for each week you can calculate how much you've scored. I am not sure how uh, how many out of your all quizzes will be taken into consideration uh, while calculating your final scores. Okay. Okay, so you can see here the average assignment score is 25% of the average of best 8 assignments of the total 12. Okay, so 8 the best 8 assignments of the 12 that you have submitted. So you can calculate the average of 8 best scores, and then that will count towards your final grade. So that is how you can calculate your assignment score, but it has not been published yet, and it will be published at the end with your final score. So 25% will be calculated based on how you perform in the quiz, and 75% will be calculated through the proctored exam that you appear for. So I hope that is clear.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I want to know, is there any indicators for economic sustainability?
Uh, in the when we were discussing sustainability, uh, as indicators, we saw that GDP, and we discussed some other indicators as well that are usually considered or usually taken into account whenever we are discussing how someone is doing economically. But sustainability is not a very what you can say, it's not a very simple phenomena, or uh, it has to be calculated. It's a complex thing to calculate, so you can't just have one indicator or few indicators to calculate if something is sustainable or not. So we have several indicators for sustainability as we discussed during that session, but as we discussed at that time also, that GDP is not a very good indicator to show us how sustainable we are or how good we are doing in terms of economy, because GDP is a gross number which depicts the production or the economic output of uh, entire nation or a very large group of people. How the economic output is divided among different groups. Where is the economic output coming from? Is it coming from polluting industries? Is it coming from more green production and consumption practices? All of that have to be taken into account when we are studying how sustainability and economy are interlinked. So it's not just one indicator or two. There are indicators which you can take into account. So, for example, there is Gini coefficient, which studies inequality and economic output. So the interrelationship between economic output and how it is divided between different groups of the population. So there are various economic indicators, but again, none of these indicators represent economic sustainability as a whole. All of them just represent some part of sustainability as we discuss. If you want to know how you can calculate if some economy is sustainable or not, you have to look into a lot of different aspects of that economy. So I hope I made that clear.
Yes, yes. Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Please summarize the topic in UN SDG for sustainable development, that is the tools SPSS, MSDS, DE. Can you please summarize about it?
These things, I think there were different strategies for sustainable design that was discussed. So if you have any specific question, I can answer, but if you want a summary, you can just go through this. I'll just show you. So these are all the lectures converted into transcripts. So I'll have to find the one which discusses about SPSS, but SPSS and MSDS, as you said, all of those are various techniques or various design principles which tell you or which direct you, which give you guideline on how to practice a more sustainable design practice. Uh, so if you have specific doubts, I can address the specific doubts. But if you want just the entire lecture or overview of the lecture, I suggest that you see these course transcripts.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, I think you can see this. It says lecture 29. So this is the one which discusses SPSS, MSDS, and DE. So all of these are design practices or how design practices geared towards sustainability. So if you want to read about that, you can go to this transcript. So here you can see this image is in a graphic representation. It tells you about the SPSS model for sustainable design. Again, Lens is the organization or the foundation who has designed or created this kind of a model using which you can focus on building a certain type of a model for production and consumption, and also maintenance of the product throughout its life cycle, so that our consumption and production patterns are more sustainable. Similarly, you will find information about other models as well if you refer to this transcript.
ये क्या बात है, एक एक बोर्ड डाल के हट क्यों गई सब? तेरे पास फोन है? हैं?
तो लोकल
While you are asking if I can discuss SDGs related sample questions. Uh, just have to see in which lecture we discussed those questions and then come to them. Okay, so these are some examples of this we discussed in week 1. So one example is you'll be given a set of questions and you'll be asked that which of those SDGs is not building related or not related to a particular thing. So for example, this question is asking that which of the following goal is not building related, and you have goal 11, 12, 13 and 14. So you can see goal 11, 12, 13 and 14. These are all building related questions. So you can see clearly that sustainable cities and communities, this is very directly related to buildings. So obviously that is not the correct answer. Responsible consumption and production, this is not directly related to buildings, but it is indirectly related in how our resource consumption and our production of building materials and other components which construct the building, how they affect sustainability. Again, that is not directly but indirectly related to buildings. Similarly, climate action is also related to buildings because a lot of uh, the impact on climate is also because of our construction activities and other building related activities, and because of the amount of energy we use in our buildings and in construction and other things. Life below water, however, is largely related to marine life, and although to some extent you can say that how building waste is managed and if it ends up uh, in oceans or in water bodies, that can affect life below water. But again, if among these 4 options, if you see the most suitable answer, which is not very directly or not much related to buildings, is the goal 14, which is life below water. So similarly, you can be asked questions that these are n number of goals, or these are your options, and among these, which is not related to a certain aspect, or which among these goals is related to X aspect. Another example is United Nations developed X UN SDGs goals. So it's asking you about the total number. So you can see we have 17 total UN SDG goals. So that's another kind of example. So I think we discussed several questions with which talked about UN SDGs. So these are 2 examples which I gave you. There might be more if you go through the lectures. I'm not sure that we had any more, but there might be more SDG related questions. I'll just scroll through if and see if there are any more. In the meantime, if you have further questions, you can ask. Lipika, you are raising your hand. Do you have any question?
Uh, yes. Like I don't have the question regarding the topic. I have a question regarding the paper. That how it gonna come? Will there be any negative marking? And what are the number of questions that gonna come? Like that.
I am not aware of that. So I am only someone who is assigned to doubt clearing sessions. If you still want to ask these questions, we have. I'm not sure if you are aware that there is a discussion forum. Are you aware of that?
So even the discussion forum happen every week. Like I'm not aware.
No, no, no. That is not the discussion forum. Every week we have live problem solving sessions, and I do that. So if you see here, I'll just quickly show you. So this is the Swayam portal, and in the portal there is Q&A. So if you go, it takes you to the discussion forum. If you click through to that, you go to the discussion forum. So this is the discussion forum. Here people can ask questions. So you can see few people have already asked some questions about the exam. So if the course instructor or the associated TA answers the question that you ask here, you can read answer to other people's question as well, and you can ask your own questions also. So
Okay. Thank you.
so here I think this is an important answer that you should look into because someone asked that what the final exam pattern will be for this course. Will it be MCQs only, or there would be subjective type questions also? So to this, the TA answered that the final exam would be objective type only. So this is what the TA has answered. But this is not what I am saying, but in the forum, TA has answered that. So I think you can take that as your answer or what is going to be in the exam. If uh, there are still further questions, you can ask. So I think Payal also asked the same question. She asked that whether the exam will be MCQ type or subjective type. So again, the TA has answered that the question will be multiple choice or MCQ type only. I think there is just a mistake. I think it's MCQ type. So that is all the TA has told. If you still have any doubts, feel free to send in an email and they'll answer your query about that.
Alright. Thank you.
Okay, I found more questions related to the UNSCGs. So in week 8's lecture also there were several questions related to the UNSCGs. So you can see week 8's question also. So for example, this question is asking that providing access for small scale artisanal fishers to marine resources and markets belong to which UN SDG? So again, you remember that it's talking about fishing or farming, so it's largely related to marine life. So from that also you can guess that it is most likely related to SDG 14. But again, I showed you earlier also that every SDG has set targets and set indicators. So to achieve any goal, there are a number of targets that have to be achieved. So if we achieved those targets, then we can say that yes, we have achieved this sustainable development goal. So this question is basically asking about one particular target, which is to provide access for small scale artisanal fishers to marine resources and markets. So this is that particular target which is associated with the SDG 14. So you have to pay attention to what targets each SDG has. So if you don't know, I have shared links to the UNSDG's website. So if you visit the UNSDG's website, okay, I think there might be some this link. But if you go to the UNSDG's Sustainable Development Goal or 17 goals, yeah, I think there is some problem with the website. Okay, I'm not sure why this isn't opening. Okay, I'm not sure why this isn't opening, but if you go to this is for week 8. So if you go to the week 8's recording, you can see that if you click on to the link of each goal, uh, you'll get tabs for the targets and indicators, and you can go and click onto that tabs, and that will show you each target related to a particular SDG. So from there you can access, you can see what are the particular targets associated with each SDG. So these questions you can solve using that. Again, this is also another example of a target. So another target says, target 1.1, it says that by 2030, the target is to eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere, which extreme poverty they are currently measuring as people who are living on less than $1.25 a day. And this question is asking about that particular target, and the question is asking that people are considered poor if they are living under what number of dollars a day. This is another example. Another question about the targets. Another question which is asking that what is the total number of SDG indicators that need to be fulfilled by 2030. So as I said that there are set number of targets for each SDG, and to see whether we have met that target or not, there are indicators. So that indicators, if you measure that is mentioned in that indicator, it will tell you whether you've reached that target or not. So all of the SDG indicators were supposed to be fulfilled by, or were planned to be fulfilled by the year 2030. So that means all the indicators of the SDGs, which is 232. So each SDG has certain number of targets, and each target has certain number of indicators to show whether the target is completed or not. So there are 232 indicators in total, and this question is showing you that information. Again, another question about SDG, which is asking that which SDG is not a part of education, gender, and inequality, and it is similar to the earlier question that we solved, and you have several options for the goal. So, equality or leaving no one behind. I just explained what that means, and you can see education, gender, and inequality. These are the SDGs which are either directly or indirectly related to that, and any of the ones which is left, you can see from there. There are other aspects which you might be asked, similar to education, gender, and inequality, and those things are leaving no one behind. That is related to inequality. Then the concept of circularity, or sometimes it's also associated with decoupling. Then decoupling, which is breaking the link between economic growth and environmental degradation. Often, economic growth is very significantly linked with environmental degradation. So, decoupling is are trying to break that link. So, we do progress economically, but we do not harm the environment in the process of doing so. So, these are certain concepts for which you might be asked some questions related to that which SDGs are associated with which of these concepts and which are not. So I think this is another example which is clear. Okay, so I think these are enough examples for questions about SDGs. There might be more, but you have to go through the questions, the example questions, and you can see what kind of questions you might get.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, could you discuss question 7, week 3 assignment?
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to know that term non-industrial countries. What does it mean? Like,
Question week 3 is which question?
7,
7.
regarding net zero building.
Okay. Okay, so this question is from your assignments and not the ones that we discussed, right?
Yeah, it's from assignment.
Okay. Okay, so this question is talking about NZEB for existing buildings, which falls under which goal for non-industrial countries. Okay, so this is basically a pathway towards creating a country or society which has net zero energy buildings as a norm instead of like the regular buildings which we have. So the NZEB is a pathway which non-industrial countries can follow. So countries which are not very highly industrialized, which are still not very far off in their uh, what you can say, their journey of industrialization. What are the steps or goals or a pathway that they can follow in order to achieve net zero energy buildings? So you have highly industrialized countries, you have non-industrialized countries, and some countries which are not so far off in the industrialization process, but maybe in the middle. I think the pathway shows you all different kinds of options. Let me get to that graphic which was mentioned or which was shown to you, and that can help explain it to you better. Okay, so can you see this graphic? You would have seen this graphic in your lectures also. So this is a roadmap. So NZDB is not only a pathway, but it is an alliance also between countries uh, who have a network of different organizations who have agreed to facilitate uh, uh, the installation of or the promotion of net zero energy buildings as a norm instead of having regular buildings. So, in order to achieve that goal of having net zero energy buildings in the particular countries, there are set of goals: short-term goals, middle-term goals, and long-term goals, which the countries need to follow. So, this is an example for countries, or this is the pathway for non-industrialized countries, for the countries which haven't reached as much industrialization as the developed countries. So they can follow these set of uh, goals or this kind of a roadmap in order to achieve net zero energy buildings in their country. So this is what this is talking about. So the question that you have, that targeting NZEB for existing buildings falls under which goal for non-industrialized countries. So you can implement the NZEB model for newly upcoming buildings, and you can then move on to retrofitting or restoring existing buildings also to be net zero energy buildings. But you can see here, okay, that this, I don't know if you can see the 14th point here, that is targeting NZEB for existing buildings. So in the short term, when you only start to implement this process of implementing NZEB solutions, you can't address that, okay, all of the buildings, even existing buildings, have to be NZEB. So NZEB building for existing NZEB for existing buildings has been considered as a middle term goal that you should achieve through the at the middle of your journey towards achieving this NZEB goal for your country. So that is what this question is. Uh, is this clear, or were you asking something little different?
No, no, now it's clear.
Okay.
Please explain question number 4, assignment 5. Big 5.
Okay. Okay, so this is the question, right? How many Earths will be required for high consumption with 3383 calories?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so the answer is 3. So basically, this question was talking about the carrying capacity of the Earth. So Earth has a limited number of resources. I don't know, I discussed it earlier also that this 3338 calories, I don't know where this comes from, but this question is talking about the carrying capacity of the Earth, or how much, what amount of population, or the amount of resource use the Earth can support. So going with what we are going right now, or going with the amount of consumption of a developed country, I think that is what this question is talking about. If we go with that rate of consumption as we are going right now, we will need the amount of 3 Earths worth of resources to sustain us. That is what this question is talking about. So just ignore this 3383 calories. I think we had a problem with this in during our live session also, when we were discussing this. So ignoring this, just focus on the material for that. I think I can find the material. Let me try to find the material from week 5. Okay, so this is the material that you need to consult. So this talks about consumption and wealth, and the culture of consumerism. So you can see the number of global hectares per person. So this is measuring in global hectares per person. So the amount of hectares of earth and the associated resources we need for of the earth we need to sustain us. It's not talking in calories, and it is talking in global hectares per person. So I'm also not very sure from where that number comes, but I can tell you that you need to focus on this particular graphic that was in your lectures, and you need to focus on this. So it says that according to the estimates of the WWF, 3 planets would be required if everyone were to adopt the consumption patterns and lifestyles of the average citizen from the United Kingdom. So, if we all of us were to adopt consumption pattern of someone who is from the United Kingdom, so from a very developed country, if we were to adopt a pattern of consumption like that, we would require 3 planets or 3 Earths to sustain our planet. we would require 5 planets if we were to live like average North American. So this is what is shared in the course material in your lectures. I am not sure, but I think there has been some mistake in how this question has been phrased, and this was discussed during our live discussion session also. Just ignore this galleries part and just focus on this graphic instead. If you want to read the Living Planets report, which made this inference, I've linked the WWF Living Planets report, so you can access that report from this link. I hope I'm clear.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you explain that for LCA, cradle to side and side to cradle with some examples? And
Okay. So, if I can just find that, I think it will be easier. You can just tell me in which week we discussed LCA, and then I can find it more quickly.
yeah, just tell you. Week 5.
Okay.
Uh, Actually, the content is for week 5. I don't know whether these presentations have.
Okay, I'll just look through it and I'll.
It will be 5 or 6. Yeah, this one. And above.
Okay, so where we extract the raw material. So LCA is products life cycle or life cycle analysis, in which we analyze starting from when we harvest the raw materials to make a product, through its processing, through its transportation, through its retail use, and then recycling, and then returning it to raw materials. Through this entire process, we analyze what are the emissions related to that product, how we can reduce waste, how can we reuse the product, and throughout its life cycle, what happens to the product in terms of our consumption of the resources related to that product, the amount of benefit or use or what you can say output we get from using that product, and how we can do it more sustainably. This is what is all the product life cycle or life cycle analysis is about. So what we mean by cradle is the place from where we extract the raw material, so that is the cradle. So the process or at the source from where we get the raw material is called cradle. And grave is something which is where we decompose or dispose of the product at the end of the product's life cycle. So it can be in what you can say very dump, can be large dump yards or where product go as waste. Some product which are whose solid waste management is not done properly, they can end up even in oceans or can pollute other sites. And some of the products, if they're chosen for recycling and reuse, they can again become raw materials. So again, they'll from grave, which is the end of the product, they'll become raw material, which is cradle. So we can either follow cradle to grave, that is one life cycle of a product that we use some raw material, and at the end of its product's life cycle, we decompose it, or we just throw it, and it is waste. So that is it. It has reached to its grave. So that is the cradle to grave life cycle. Or you can have cradle to cradle, that at the end of product's life cycle, it becomes a raw material for another product. So either it's recycled, or maybe it is decomposed, then the decomposed material is used for a different kind of a product, or it is reused or retrofitted or repaired in a way that it again can be used by someone else, or can be converted into a different kind of product, and then it can be again used, and it goes again through a product life cycle. So that is the cradle to cradle. So at the end of the product's life cycle also, it hasn't gone to a grave, but again it has become a raw material which can be used to either manufacture or create a different kind of a product, which again will have its own life cycle. That is what is the difference between cradle to cradle and cradle to grave kind of product life cycles.
And I just want to know more that cradle to site and site to cradle.
Okay, so uh, so cradle to gate, I think, is the one. So from cradle, so from the raw material where you harvest it to the production site, or where production happens, that is cradle to gate. And you're asking cradle to site.
Yeah.
I can't find any representation of cradle to site, but it might be another.
And it has a questions of assignment 5 question number.
Okay.
Uh, Question number I just tell you 8.
Which of the following types of LCA is not correct? Site to gate. Okay. So obviously, as you can see here, that it moves in this way, never in this way. So from the raw material, you can only go to the gate. So from gate, you have to move in this direction. So either it will be to site or to grave, or again then back to cradle or something. There is no going the other way. So from site, it won't go site to gate. That is not a correct form of life cycle analysis or life cycle. So you can
So
see what other
here is
options are
gate
there.
or site is same.
No, site and gate are different. Again, I'll have to find the representation for that to tell you for sure. But I think site is either where it is being used, or okay, cradle to gate. Okay, so this is some okay raw material which goes to uh, production customer. So I think production customer is the site where the product will be manufactured, and I think this is just the distribution or the person in charge of distribution of the raw material, that is gate. So I think site is where the raw material is produced or manufactured into a product, that is site. So
Okay.
gate and site are different, but again from site to gate, there is the cycle doesn't move that way. Cycle moves like this.
Okay. I think maybe the site would be when the production systems is coming, and
Yes.
maybe the gate when the after production when it is released from the production site, that would be maybe gate. I think so. Maybe.
According to this representation, gate is somewhere where the raw material comes to, which supplies. This is a person who harvests the raw material from its natural source, and after harvesting, where the product comes is the gate, and from here it reaches to the site, which is where the product manufacturing takes place. So gate is where the raw material comes after harvesting from its natural source.
Okay.
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 There might be another graphic in the lectures. Let me try to find it. That will make it more clear.
Yeah. There is a one graph is there.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
This is the one which shows you what gate is, what site is, and what grave. Okay. So you can see this is the extraction process from the natural source, and then gate is somewhere from where it will be shipped to where the manufacturing takes place. So it is uh, either oil refineries or mining or such kind of extraction of natural resources, which you know, these are only some examples which I'm saying, that oil refineries or uh, metal or other mining operations. Uh, from that operation, where the product or the raw material reaches to a particular distributor, who then distributes it to the manufacturer. So product from its natural resource or natural source reaching to the uh, the raw material distributor, that is gate. Then from the raw material distributor, the raw material reaching to the manufacturer, that is site where it is manufactured. And then grave is at the end of the product's life cycle. Okay, so
Okay.
okay, so it will go from gate to site, but it won't go from site to gate. Okay, do you understand why that one is incorrect? So it will go from gate to site, but not from site to gate, not the other way.
Okay.
Could you please explain innovation wheel?
Okay, in which lecture was it?
Yeah, it's in week 9.
Okay, it's not very clear in this image. I think this is what you're asking about.
Yes.
So, yes, do you have anything else to say?
No. Actually, from assignment 9, question number 6, I want to understand, which is about this innovation wheel.
So this question is brand, which is a domain under which category of the innovation wheel? Is it
Yes.
experience, configuration, offering, or none of the above? Okay, so if you see the configuration wheel here, although it is not clear, you have three categories in the innovation system. You have first innovation in the configuration of the product, innovation in the way you offer the product as a service to the end user, or innovation in the experience that the user gets out of the product. So either you change the product itself, so that is change in the configuration, or you change the model in which you offer it to the customer. So either maybe you can have a subscription service, or the person can purchase it outright, or there can be many ways for offering. And then the experience that person gets from it, that can also be changed. So you can change your service, how you what service you provide with the product, etc. So there can be things related to that also. So the question is asking about brand. So I'm not sure which it is related to, but I think it is this brand experience related to. So because of having a brand, there might be some notion that it is superior than others, and also because of belonging to a particular brand, it might have a structured or standardized sort of experience or quality that might render the experience of the customer different from using a different kind of a product. So that might be different. So that is what I think that question is talking about, that whether brand is related to which part of the innovation wheel, or what kind of innovation in the product. So there can be three kinds of innovation: innovation in how the product is designed or made, so in the configuration, then how it is offered, so like purchasing it outright or as a subscription service, or maybe in a different way, and thirdly, what experience the consumer gets out of using the product. So brand is a part of the experience in the innovation wheel. So I think this is what the question is talking about. Is there still anything further that I need to explain?
No, can we get this image like this doesn't have a clarity. So if we can
Have
get,
you gone through the lectures?
yes, yes.
So this image might be more clear in the lectures. So you just go through the lecture. This is only a transcript. So this focuses more on the text of what is said in the video. But if you want to see this image more clearly, just go to the lecture, and in the lecture you will get this image more clear.
Okay, okay, I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no more doubts. So can I
Yeah,
leave?
sure. If you want to stay and listen to doubts that other people ask, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave. You're free to go.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Tanmay and Payal, only you are left. So if you have any further doubts, please ask.
Yeah, please give me a minute. I just check the if because it's last class, so if anything left back. For the exam, in the LCA chapters, there are multiple examples and process have described, and some questions also arise from the percentage of GHG in terms of CO2 contribution per stage wise. So, is it required for most of the examples and their percentage to be remembered, because it's a you know, difficult percentage. And also in the last session, the last question for the one of the rating system that the building have achieved 86.36%. So the percentage of these numbers, it's difficult to remember.
I'm unfortunately I can't help in the kind of questions that will be there in exams. You've gotten such kind of questions in the assignment, so it is highly likely that you might get similar questions in the exam.
Okay.
But I can't say for sure whether you will get such questions or not.
Mhm. In the session 3,
Yes.
uh, in your PPT, question number 4,
Mm-hmm.
there is a link for Graham manual that 65% reduction of water consumptions So the correct answer was, what is that?
Which question?
Question number 4, in your class presentation, doubt clearing
Yes.
session is a third session.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The answer was for that.
I think the answer was low flow fixtures. I can't remember the answer. Uh,
Low.
but the answer was low flow fixtures. So you can achieve several levels of reduction in water consumption by using low flow fixtures. So there are certain percentages,
Mm-hmm.
and if you achieve 65%, you are eligible for Griha rating. So I have shared the Griha manual.
Yeah, yeah. I just opening
Yes.
again.
So in the Griha manual also you can see they have mentioned certain percentages that if you achieve
Mm-hmm.
this amount of percentage reduction in water consumption, you get these many points.
The first one manual, right?
Yes. Mm.
65% for residential, I think.
No, I don't. I think we followed the Swagriha manual because we did a self evaluation. So we evaluated ourselves. It was not
Okay.
an evaluation done by professional. So we followed the Swagriha self evaluation checklist.
Okay.
Okay. So there are several, if you can see here, there are several kinds of checklists. This is the regular checklist for the most
Like,
updated one, which is followed by the professional. This is a checklist for existing buildings, then for schools, for affordable buildings. Uh, this is for large developments. Then there is Griha for entire cities also. We followed the Swagriha manual because we were doing a self-evaluation. So I think this is the one which we followed. Okay. And if you go to the section which talks about, let me just highlight this. Okay. So this is the one which talks about low flow fixtures. So this is the criteria 8, which talks about reduction in building and landscape water demand. So you can see, so reduction in building water demand, this can be achieved through use of low flow fixtures. So there are, you can see here, there are certain percentages that you can reach by using low flow fixture percentage reduction in the water usage. So this is for landscaping. I think the question is asking about regular water use, not for landscaping. I think so that might be in a different criteria. Uh, Here is we go. Okay. So if you see in the Swagriha manual, there are two options, either 10 to 20% or 20 to 30%. I think the question what the question is asking, it's not following the Swagriha manual, but it is following the regular Griha manual, which is used by the professionals. Because the Swagriha manual doesn't have that, and this is not available as a free version. Again, that was another reason why I didn't show you this one. But that might be what that question is talking about. Again, uh, in general also, we can achieve reduction in water usage by using low flow fixtures. I explained what low flow fixtures are. Do you remember that? What low flow fixtures are?
Yeah, regarding for the building for MEPs or water connection fixtures are used for this maintain the flow further.
Yes. So there are aerators which aerate the flow of water. So the amount of water needed for doing things is less. Then there are other kind of particular low flow fixtures which you can use so that the amount of water that you need is less while serving the same purpose that was being served earlier. So if you use low flow fixtures, the amount of water you are using, that is reduced. Do you have any more questions?
I'm just checking others also. So in solar system, some of the free for use A4U use systems are applicable for other countries. So similar, any other business models are there or something like?
There might be other business models, but you only focus on the ones that have been discussed in the course.
Okay.
Those are just some examples which tell you that how renewable energy or renewable energy resources can be made more accessible to people.
Okay. Can you explain that applied industrial AI for manufacturing and healthcare? Just simply to understand that one.
So applied AI, so it tells you in various stages or in various parts of the healthcare industry how AI can be applied, or in which sectors or in which functions AI can be applied, and then how AI can improve that function. And in the end, if you see, it tells you or it gives you some numbers or some details about studies which have shown that how it has benefited. So how AI can benefit, or to what percentage it can change the outcome or efficiency of that particular function if you apply AI technology for that particular function. That is what that graphic tells you. And if you go through it, it tells you about each function of the healthcare industry. Similarly, it tells you for manufacturing also.
Mhm. Manufacturing healthcare, the phases are a little bit different or same?
They are different.
Okay.
As manufacturing industry and healthcare industry, they are both very different industries. So even the functions that happen within the industry or within the system are different. Manufacturing industry is an industry which focuses on production of something, and
Mhm.
healthcare industry is a service sector industry. So
Hmm.
one is an example of a manufacturing industry, another is an example of a service sector industry. So both are very different example and both have very different functions. But again, in both, how AI can be applied to improve those functions, that is depicted in both those figures.
Okay, so this is for operational phase, for the any units or system, right?
What do you mean by operational stage?
That means for the construct, suppose for any green building or any building which is it is comes under biomimicry portion. So how from the natural aspects we are considering to our daily life problem solution sectors, like manufacturing have a lot of you know issues to be covered with the AI or our system to be what I understood that so that's why I want to more these aspects.
So the aspects we are talking about, biomimicry or natural aspects, that is very different. The question or that AI part, it talks in very general about a manufacturing industry which manufactures a product. So in terms of building material, you can, or in terms of building, it can talk about potentially it can talk about how building materials are manufactured, maybe manufacturing of some prefab building parts or something other like that. But it is very general. It just talks about manufacturing or manufacturing of any kind of product, and in that how AI can be implemented. If you talk about the service industry related to buildings, so maybe it can be applied into how the services of engineers or architects in designing or not manufacturing, in the construction process, how that service is delivered to the consumer, in that how AI can be used. So maybe integrating AI with BIM, that can be one avenue of integration of AI into the service sector of building manufacturing. But building manufacturing is not just one industry, it is a mixture of both the manufacturing and the service sector. So that question or that application of AI is very different to what you're asking. You're asking about buildings in general, but buildings in general are composite systems. It's not just service sector, it's not just manufacturing sector, it's a mix of both.
Okay, so that's why I'm talking about that the total process. Like here, I can see that supply chain management in this. in the manufacturing sector with a phase wise. So and this aspect during operation of the manufacturing unit, so this is AI system should be applied, right? Or from the, you are saying, talking about from the design phase, or something like that.
Design phase is very different. The phases that you're talking about, that is the phase in building design or something design of the product. But where AI is applied in the manufacturing sector, there is also a component of design of the product. So when you apply AI, you gather information or insights about what kind of material you need to produce the product. Based on your design, what is the efficiency with which you are making the products. If you choose a different design, can you improve the efficiency of the manufacturing system or not? So in that phase, it can be applied. But again, in the building design also, it is only limited to design of one particular product, which is a component of that particular building. You can't design an entire building and apply AI into that. Again, as I said, that BIM, which is building information modeling, you can integrate, maybe you can integrate AI and then focus on developing more efficient or more sustainable options using AI into that. So you can gather information, create inferences using AI in that way. But what the question is talking about, or what you have gotten in the lectures, it is not talking about that. It is talking just about a manufacturing industry and how in that manufacturing industry AI can be applied and how it can generate better manufacturing processes.
Okay, understood. In session 11, week 11, in your notes, Copenhagen Accord, the whatever the graph, the pictorial diagram is there, that is not clear. Sure. So we have to collect from other source, or because it's not so clear.
This one,
Yes, yes.
this is just a screenshot from the lectures. So although it is not very clear, you can go and you can see it more clearly in the lectures.
IGBC or GRIHA, which is the most better certifications for any organizations?
I can't say which is a better certification. Both are just different certifications, and both are used by different kind of professionals. But you can't say that one is a better certification than another.
Okay. But almost the process or concept are almost similar, but
Yes.
the rating system some in section is different.
So one difference is that Griha ratings are for integrated habitat assessment. So it's not just the building, but the building and its surroundings also. However, IGPC is for green building ratings. So that is, I think, a key difference between the two. But still, you can't say that one is better than another or one is superior. It's
So
almost.
in the so just I want to know for this whatever the total week materials are there. So is a small any calculative type objective can come, or in which section we then what are those examples we can check before this exam?
So it is almost 8 now, so I don't have the time to go back to the
No,
question.
no, I just the points only.
Yes,
If
it is possible, but I think we had a few questions in which you had to do percentage calculations or something.
yeah, for example, I just understand that EPI can be some figures are
Yes.
there, so EPI ratio or something.
Yes, there were
I got
some percentage calculation type questions, a few,
Mhm.
but that is, I think, that is the extent to which calculation kind of questions were there in our sample questions. Nothing more related to applying formulas and calculations was there in the practice sessions or in the questions that were assigned.
Okay.
Okay, so it's almost 8.
Yeah, that is from because I was traveling. So in the first session, I could not speak or write. So that's why I'm a little bit late. I joined.
That's
Thank you for supporting or
okay.
for clear session.
Thank you to all of you also for attending. I think I'll close the session now. It's almost 8. Thank you all for attending this course, for attending this session, and all the very best for your exam.
Thank you.